Ah yes, the 6th generation pre-facelifted Toyota Camry, the Toyota Highlander, and the 2010 Toyota Prius. 3 astounding Toyota models. And I'm sure you could never guess by looking at them that they all had massive, gigantic engine issues. That's right, today we are talking about the era of Toyota engine issues, which lasted all the way from the early 2000s all the way up until about 2010, 2012, 2013, around there. So without further ado, let's get into it, car by car. Starting with the 2006 to 2009 Toyota Camry. This car was infected with the wonderful plague of mass oil consumption. Why? Piston rings, of course. You see, in 2002, Toyota transitioned from the older 2.2-liter 5S FE, designed in the early 80s, to the new 2AZ FE, which was designed to be more fuel efficient, had a timing chain instead of a timing belt, and was overall seemed to be like a newer solution for better fuel economy. Now, this time it had an aluminum block and, believe it or not, variable valve timing. And believe it or not, this is so surprising, it was not the cause of the issues. Now, even though it wasn't the cause of this specific issue, it also caused, in the 2002 5th generation Toyota Camry, had head bolts pulling out the threads of the aluminum block. Fun, but that's not what we're talking about today. No, the 2AC FE is a good engine and still performs reliably today. The issue stemmed in 2007 when tightening emissions regulations forced Toyota to switch to all new low-tension piston rings. And the issue with that is, once there's a lot of carbon buildup, they don't seal so good. And when I say burning oil, I mean burning oil. This car would burn through this delightful pistachio pudding looking car would burn through more oil than Taylor Swift. Almost a quart every 1,000 miles or less. Ridiculous. This issue was the direct cause of new tightening emissions regulations. Toyota tried to keep up, so they did, what they've done before, what they thought would work, and it didn't work out so well. And now I'm going to read off to you the cars that were affected, so sit down. The Toyota Camry from 2007 to 2011, including some hybrids. The Toyota RAV4 from 2006 to 2008, the most common one. The Toyota Solara, which is essentially a Camry, from 2006 to 2008. The Toyota Corolla, just in 2009. The Toyota Matrix, just in 2009. The Scion TC in 2007 through 2010. And the Scion XB in 2008 to 2015. I would say this is the best known issue on this list, especially with the Camry and RAV4, because of course they were the most popular. Moving on. This next one is probably the second best known, and it's something that Greg, my car angel, that's right, my car angel, not your car angel, will never let me forget. Yes, that's right, the iconic problem with the 2010 to 2012 Toyota Prius that literally every single car channel, including Greg, my car angel, will not let you forget. The 2010 through 2012 and sometimes 2015, it's like the vowels A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, is mainly 2010 through 2012, but it can still happen in the 2012 through 2015 generations too. The power that it is equipped with is blowing head gaskets. Yay! The main culprit here was the Toyota Prius's 2ZRFXE. Come on, that's the coolest engine name I've ever heard, but still hard to read. Used a heavy dose of EGR, or exhaust gas recirculation. Now the issue is it gets a bit technical, so let me explain it in simpleton terms. Essentially, it recirculates the exhaust gases back through to lower NOx emissions and to cut combustion temperatures. In simpleton terms, all it means is that it makes your engine more efficient. Now, this one isn't really the government's fault. This is really just Toyota, flipping around and finding out with their Toyota. Because, it was the Prius. They wanted something economical. So this was a new system they were trying. And this time, they just got it ever so slightly wrong. The main cause is carbon buildup clogging the EGR passages in the intake manifold, especially when feeding cylinder 1. And when that passage gets blocked, the cylinder runs hotter and leaner than the other ones. And head gaskets really don't like it when things run hotter and different. It puts extra stress on the engine, and boom, just like that, the head gasket pops, and then you have to get a new one because that just introduces all sorts of issues. Luckily, however, this issue only really affects 2 cars. The 3rd generation Toyota Prius, again, like I said, and the Lexus CT200H from 2011 all the way up until 2017. So if you own either of those cars, too bad for you, I guess. Moving on to the Toyota Highlander, and these are specifically the V6s, which I've just chosen for this because it was only shipped with a V6. Let me read out the other cars that were also affected by this. I would also say this one is the grossest. I mean, look at that. That looks like a Nestle Crunch that was, like when you put chocolate in a pan, it gets all bubbly and it turns black and stuff? That's what that looks like. I mean, that is nasty. It essentially affected most normal, like, average Toyota vehicles with a V6 from 1997 to 2002, with the affected models being the Toyota Camry V6 from 1997 to 2002, the Toyota Avalon from 1997 to 2002, the Toyota Sienna from 1998, variation there, to 2002, the Toyota Camry Solara V6, again, Camry, to 1999 to 2002, the Toyota Highlander from 2001 to 2002, crazy one there, again, slight change, it's just blowing my mind, the Lexus ES300 from 1997 to 2002, and the Lexus RX 300 from 1999 to 2002. Very fascinating stuff. So there's actually two things going on here. First of all is a poorly designed PCV system. It essentially pulls blow-by gases from the crank case and routes them back into the intake to burn them again. It was just poorly designed, and sometimes it let too much oil through, which caused sludge, and also a poorly designed oil-air separator. Another thing, which is again tying back to emission standards, the US government wanted higher emissions. They couldn't do that, so essentially what they did was they removed some more coolant passages in the engine, and what that led to is the engine running hotter, which is better for efficiency. The issue with that is it's better for baking and caking sludge, which is exactly what happened. So in layman's terms, essentially oil got mixed with a bunch of other stuff and then got caked into crap, which eventually clogged up bits of the engine and just caused a bunch of haywire issues. Now moving on to some of the symptoms to see if your car has it. It has clogged oil passages, which are of course bad, loss of oil pressure, which is also bad, oil starvation and bearing failure, which doesn't sound fun to me, and then catastrophic complete engine failure. Great. So you're probably asking, Quokka, what is the cause? What is the set-off point for this series of extremely unfortunate events? The answer is emission standards. As we, try as hard as we can to make the planet more efficient and to make cars more efficient, there are, of course, going to be a few hiccups. And the issue is Toyota is not a car company that changes a lot. They do something and then they stick with it until it stops working. The issue was, the auto industry works in eras. We had the boxy era of the 80s, then we had the 90s, super smooth but still the same shape era, then we had the big, still smooth but bubbly and bigger era in the 2000s, which was in the 2000s and early 2010s, which was caused by new crash safety standards, and now we have the sleek hatchback, crossover era, which we're going through. This was simply a change of eras for Toyota, a change from the 80s designed engines, which worked so reliably and so well, to now testing out with different stuff like variable valve timing and these intricate systems which help your engine run more efficient to meet emission standards. Now in the end, think about that. Think about the way we wrote these laws and these emission standards. What it was supposed to do was help the planet. What it eventually ended up doing was sending thousands of cars to a premature graveyard because we hadn't figured out the technology yet before we tried it. Now, that's not really the government's fault. It's more Toyota's fault for not trying it heavily enough. But then again, you're never really going to be able to test 400,000 miles when developing an engine, so I don't place blame completely on them. It's mainly just something to think about when you're buying a used car, something to look out for if you own one of these cars, and if you happen to be writing laws or advocating for laws and stuff, just think about the way and how we can write these to put less pressure on car companies so that they can actually figure out the technology before deploying them and doing more damage than good. Well, with that, thank you for watching, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Oh, and if you're interested to see if your generation of any car has any issues, check out the new Gen Rank show, which will be airing on Common Quokka sometime next month. Thank you all, and see you real soon.